The research ship Aurora slid out of faster-than-light space at the edge of a small yellow star system. The great blue curve of a distant planet showed on the main screen, half in shadow, half in light. This was the Talani Union's first contact with a new race. On the bridge, soft lights glowed over control panels. Thin, pale Talani officers watched their screens with bright, oval eyes. Excitement and fear mixed in the air. Captain Sel stood in the center of the room. His hands were calm behind his back, but his heart beat faster than he would admit. For years, the Union had listened to this system. They had picked up strange radio waves, music, and voices from a world the natives called Earth. The humans were clever. They had machines in orbit, metal ships on their moon, and a wide net of signals around their world. But they were still young. They had never met other spacefaring life. At least, that was what the files said. Sel spoke in a clear voice. Bring us into a safe holding orbit. No weapons lock. No shields up. We do not want to scare them. The crew obeyed. The Aurora drifted into position high above the edge of the system. Screens filled with data, human TV broadcasts, old radio shows, encrypted data streams, the noise of a busy, noisy world. The comms officer turned in her chair. Captain, signal ready. Sel nodded. This was the moment every Talani child saw in history lessons. Send the standard greeting, he said. A message went out from the Aurora. A simple pattern of numbers, then pictures, then peaceful words in the Talani tongue. A basic, friendly call. An offer to talk. An open hand. The crew waited. Some thought it would take days. Maybe weeks. The natives would need time to notice, to decode, to answer. It took less than 1 minute. The comms officer suddenly straightened. Her hands froze above her panel. Captain, we have a reply, she whispered. Sel frowned. That was not possible. Already? In their language? The officer shook her head slowly. No, Captain. The reply is in ours. The bridge fell silent. On the main screen, a line of text appeared. The voice that came through the speakers was smooth and cold, using an old, formal style of Talani that Sel had only heard in ancient recordings. We remember you, the voice said. Sel felt the skin along his neck tighten. That phrase came from one place only. The lost war records of a slave race the Union had erased from history long ago. By all records, that race was dead. So how could a young world named Earth speak with their voice? The word hung in the air. Remember, on the bridge of the Aurora, no one moved. The only sound was the soft hum of the engines and the quiet crackle of the comms. Captain Sel forced himself to breathe. He stepped closer to the main screen. Confirm, he said. His voice was low. Run it again. The comms officer replayed the message. The same calm, cold voice spoke in perfect, ancient Talani. We remember you. There was no mistake, no trick of noise. Someone near Earth was speaking like a scholar from 10,000 years ago. That style, the science officer whispered. Captain, I have only seen that form of Talani in war archives. Sel knew it too. His people used that old dialect only in recordings from the Ashen War. A war against a slave race that, by law and by story, no longer existed. Can you locate the source? Sel asked. The answer came at once. Yes, Captain. The signal comes from orbit around the third planet, near one of their stations. Of course, near Earth. Sel's mind raced. Had someone else reached this world first? A lost Talani ship? Some enemy using their tongue? Or, something worse? He gave the only order that fit. Send a second message, this time in one of their main languages. Introduce us. Ask who speaks for them. Be polite. Very polite. The Aurora sent a new greeting. This one used a simple human language decoded from Earth's radio waves. It said, "We come in peace. We are explorers from the Talani Union. We wish to speak with the leaders of Earth." Again, they did not wait long. Contact inbound, the comms officer said. Source: a ship rising from the planet. Fast. On the screen, a human ship climbed out of the atmosphere. It was smaller than the Aurora, but its engines burned bright and clean. The hull was smooth, built for space, not just for orbit. They should not have this level of drive tech yet, the science officer murmured. Not according to our surveys. The human ship adjusted its course with care, not fear. It did not point weapons. It matched the Aurora's orbit with skilled, practiced ease. Then a new voice sounded over the comms. This time it spoke in modern Talani, with only the smallest accent. Research vessel Aurora of the Talani Union, the voice said. We welcome you to the home system of humanity. I am Ambassador Daniel Kim, speaking on behalf of Earth. Cell's heart stuttered. They knew his ship's name. They knew his people's name. And they spoke his language as if they had known it for years. For a moment, Captain Cell could not speak. His crew stared at the image on the main screen. It showed only a symbol from the human ship. A simple blue-white circle with lines across it. A picture of their world. Open a visual channel, Cell said at last. The comms officer worked fast. Channel open, Captain. The symbol faded. A human face appeared. He was middle-aged, with dark hair and tired eyes. He wore a plain dark uniform with a small patch on the chest. The same blue-white Earth symbol, and some letters in a human script. The man looked straight at Cell, as if he saw right through the screen. Captain Cell of the Aurora, the human said in careful Talani. Again, welcome. I am Ambassador Daniel Kim. Cell forced his voice to stay steady. Ambassador Kim, your Talani is very good. Kim gave a small, knowing smile. We have had time to study, he said. And we remember the sound of your words. That line made Cell's skin prickle. We received a message earlier, Cell said. In an older form of our language. Who sent it? Kim's eyes did not change, but the lines on his face grew deeper. We did, he answered simply. Or rather, someone from my team. We thought it was polite to greet you in your own first tongue. First tongue. As if they knew there had been more than one. Cell changed the subject, trying to regain control. We come in peace, he said. This is meant to be a peaceful first contact with a new species. We wish to learn about you. To share knowledge. Kim's smile faded. He looked past Cell, at the bridge, the crew, the walls of the ship. First contact, he repeated softly. Is that what your records say? Yes, Cell said. Your world has not been visited by our union before. There was a brief silence. Then Kim shook his head, very slowly. Captain Cell, he said, with respect, this is not the first time your kind has come to our people. Every officer on the bridge turned to stare at the screen. Cell felt his heart give a hard, painful beat. Explain, he said. In time, Kim replied. For now, we invite you to a neutral meeting place. We have a station in orbit. No heavy weapons. Normal gravity. A place to talk. As he spoke, new icons lit up on the Aurora's sensors. Another structure appeared on their scans, a human station, hidden on the far side of Earth until now. It was larger and more advanced than any young world should have. Cell studied the data. Strong power output, good life support, layered shield plating, all this from a species that, by their files, should just be learning to walk among the stars. He looked back at the human on the screen. We will come, Cell said. But I must ask one more thing. How do you know our names? Our language? Our ship? Kim met his eyes without fear. Because, Captain, he said quietly, your people were in our skies long before you called us human. The channel closed. On the bridge of the Aurora, the air felt suddenly thin. The Aurora moved in closer to Earth. Engines burned soft blue. Thrusters turned the ship with gentle, careful moves. Captain Cell watched the orbit lines on his screen. One line for his ship. One for the human ship. One for the human station that had just revealed itself. The station circled the planet like a metal ring. It was not huge by Union standards, but it was not simple either. Its shape was clean and modern. Its heat output was high. Too high for a young race. Scanning, the science officer said. I see rotating sections. That means real gravity. Good power grid. Shield plates in the outer shell. Their life support is strong. Any weapons? Cell asked. The officer paused. None on the surface, he said at last. But there are many closed bays. They could hide guns there. Cell did not like that answer. But he still gave the order. Prepare a small team, no more than 5. Full translation gear, light armor only. We will not start this meeting with heavy suits. He did not say the other part out loud. If they want us dead, armor will not save us. The shuttle left the Aurora and dropped toward the station. Through the small window, Cell saw Earth filling the sky. White clouds, blue oceans, dark land. The world looked soft and peaceful from here. It did not look like the cradle of a people who could speak in ancient war tongue. The human station grew larger. Lights lined its ports. Tiny thrusters fired to keep it steady. A docking bay opened like an eye. The Talani shuttle slid inside. Gravity caught them, gentle but firm. The ramp lowered with a hiss of air. Cell stepped out first. Humans waited in the bay. They looked ordinary. Different skin colors. Different heights. Some in uniforms, some in lab coats. Their bodies were softer than Talani bodies. Their bones were not as dense. But their eyes were alert and sharp. Ambassador Daniel Kim stood at the front. Up close, Cell saw the faint lines of age, and something else. Old tiredness, like someone who had carried a heavy weight for many years. "Welcome aboard," Kim said in clear Talani. "We are honored to host you." Cell introduced his team in turn. They walked through bright, clean corridors. The air was fresh. The station walls had a mix of new and old tech. Some parts looked recent, some looked older. Worn smooth by time, Kim led them to a wide room with a window that showed the curve of Earth below. For a moment, everyone was quiet. Then Kim spoke. "Captain Cell," he said softly, eyes still on the planet, "in your schools, what do they teach you about something called the Ashen War?" Cell froze. That name should not be known here. Not on this world. Not by these people. Cell turned his head slowly to look at Kim. "The Ashen War is not for open talk," Cell said at last. His voice was tight. "How do you know that name?" Kim did not answer at once. He walked to a small table and picked up a flat-screen device. His fingers moved over it. A symbol appeared in the air above the table, a red, sharp-edged mark like a broken circle. Every Talani in the room stiffened. It was the old war sign, the mark used in their oldest files to mean one thing only: ashen. Cell felt cold. "Turn that off," he snapped. Kim looked at him. "This symbol is forbidden in your union, yes?" he asked softly. "Your law says it must not be shown. Not spoken, not remembered." Cell did not answer. Kim turned the symbol slowly in the air. "But you remember it," he said. "And so do we." Cell forced himself to stay calm. "In our records," he said carefully, "the Ashen were a created race. Slave soldiers, built by an old empire that no longer exists. They rose against their makers. They burned fleets. They killed billions. They almost destroyed the early Talani Union and many others." He paused, then went on. "In the end, the Ashen were defeated. Their worlds were cleansed. Their genes erased. No survivors. That is what every child in my people is taught. That is what the council says." Kim listened without surprise. He nodded once. "Yes," he said. "That is close to what our hidden books say about them, too." "Hidden books?" Cell asked. Kim tapped the table. New images appeared in the air. Not clean digital lines now, but photos of old things. Stone walls, broken metal, faded paint. Cell saw a cave picture. Shapes of men, tall and thin, standing next to strange, long ships. Above them, the same red broken circle symbol. Another image. A stone tablet from some human ruin. Lines and points marked in a pattern that Cell, with a shock, knew at once. It was a star map. A very old one, and one of the stars marked bright was the Talani home system. "These are from Earth," Kim said. "From deep under our oceans. From old ice. From jungles and deserts, left behind, long ago, by people who were taken from this world. Changed. Used." Cell stared. "You are saying the Ashen came from here?" Kim's eyes were very dark now. "I am saying," he replied, "that before you called them Ashen, they were simply human." Silence fell over the room. Kim let the symbol fade. "You call them extinct," he said quietly. "We have another word." He turned his head, looking down at the blue planet in the window. "We call them," Kim finished, "our ancestors." Captain Cell's throat felt dry. His team shifted behind him, pale skin a little lighter than before. If that is true, Cell said slowly, then the Ashen were not made. They were taken. Kim nodded once. Long ago, he said, before we had metal or writing, ships came to our sky. They took many of our people. They changed them with tools, training, maybe with work on their bodies. They turned them into the soldiers you call Ashen. His voice stayed calm, but his hands were tight at his sides. They were forced to fight your wars. They learned your stars, your weapons, your fear. Cell's second officer whispered, "This is not in any records." "It is in ours," Kim answered. "Not in school books. In old family lines. In secret orders. Passed by voice, not by code." The images shifted again. Now they showed broken metal under ice. Strange bones in deep rock. Half-melted alloy buried in seafloor mud. "Some of them came home," Kim went on. "At the end of the war, when your fleets hunted them, a few Ashen ships ran. They fled to the one place their masters had forgotten. This world." Cell watched an old picture of a black, dagger-shaped ship half buried in a mountain. Human dig teams stood around it. "They crashed here," Kim said. "They were hurt. Their numbers were small. They hid their ships and tools. They tried to start new lives. They raised children. Over many, many years, the children forgot the stars. They only kept stories of sky demons, and fire gods, and wars of heaven." He turned off the display. The room lights felt harsh after the soft glow. "Your union thought you killed them all," Kim said. "You wrote laws to erase their name. But blood is harder to erase than ink. Their line lived on here. It became us." Cell felt a weight settle in his chest. Guilt, maybe. Or fear. "Then how did you learn about the galaxy again?" he asked. "How did you learn our name? Our language?" Kim's mouth twisted into something that was not quite a smile. "About 40 years ago," he said, "a small unmanned probe entered our outer system. Talani make. Old model, but still good. Your people probably thought no one would see it." Cell's eyes widened. "We saw it," Kim said. "We took it." He tapped the table. A 3D image of a familiar Talani probe spun above it, cut open, human tools all around it. "We broke it down. We read its memory. We learned your words, your math, your history of the Ashen War." Kim's gaze met Cell's, steady and dark. "From that day," he said, "we knew the galaxy that tried to wipe out our ancestors was still out there." He looked back at Earth below. "And we began to prepare.